Oh, Mr. McKagan.
Hey, Ramiro.
Hey, sorry about that. You know,
That's all right. That's all right. I had nothing better to do today, so it's all right. So, look, we're here in the band room. I've been teaching music for over 30 years, and just wondered, do you play an instrument?
Glad you asked. I do. I play the
Really?
meanest air drum you've ever heard.
Air drums, really?
I do.
Can I check it out?
Let me show you.
Okay.
And while I'm doing this, pay attention to the rudiments of my role.
Okay.
Do you want to count me off?
Oh, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow.
I'm not done yet.
Sorry. Wow, pretty amazing.
Thank you. Self-taught, no lessons.
Welcome to the Good Life Agoura Hills podcast. Join us each month as we discuss important city projects, programs, and initiatives with the community. We appreciate your support and thank you for tuning in.
What's going on, Agoura Hills community? It's your favorite podcast once again. I want to thank you and welcome everybody for joining us once again. Ramiro 𝗣𝗢𝗗, your assistant city manager and the proud host of our podcast. I got to tell you, today, I am so excited, and you'll see why. This special guest today, when I think about this person, words like legendary, iconic, beloved, all of those words come to mind. He brings with him 30+ years working at Lindero Canyon Middle School as their beloved music teacher, over 10,000 students that have come across his program, and we get to have him here today. So how fortunate are we? So without further ado, I'm gonna bring him out. Ladies and gentlemen, stop whatever you're doing and get up on your feet and help me welcome, with the warmest podcast welcome, the one, the only, Mr. Matt McKagan. Let's go. Let's go. Keep that going. Stand up. Mr. McKagan.
Ramiro, thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
So nice to be here.
Did you like that? You know,
Yeah,
honestly,
thank
it's
you.
such an honor for you, for us to have you here.
Thank you.
So thank you for taking the time.
Sure, my pleasure.
So listen, we do have some questions, and we're so excited to have you here, like I said. What we'd like to do first is maybe start with a question just to give us a little glimpse of perspective on you as a person. So if you could maybe kind of just walk us through, you know, who is Matt McKagan and what ultimately got you into music?
Oh man, that's tough.
Right?
That's a lot.
That's one question right there.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay, so when I was in high school, I went to Roosevelt High School in Seattle, Washington. And during that time, in the late 70s, is when I was there was a band director. His name was Waldo King, and he was incredible, especially with jazz. And so when I entered his program as a freshman, I just became completely involved in the jazz program at Roosevelt High School. And his enthusiasm and his knowledge about jazz just really stayed with me. It made a big difference in my life. And I knew that by the time I graduated from high school that I wanted to be a music teacher like Mr. King was. If I could influence even just a few kids like he influenced me, I could make a difference, you know, and just something I could do that I felt would be valuable with my life.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think you've made him proud.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next question, I think, as we mentioned earlier on in the show, you know, you've obviously worked for many years as the music teacher here at Lindero Canyon Middle School, but I'm not sure that many people know that you also you live in the community.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to know, you know, how's it been for you, and how do you feel about the fact that your career and where you live coincided with one another so that you can live here in Agoura Hills and do what you love doing?
Well, I haven't always lived in Agoura Hills. When I first started teaching here, I lived in Sherman Oaks. And then my wife and I got married, and we lived in Van Nuys. And we bought a condo in Van Nuys. And then we sold the condo, moved out to Camarillo. It's kind of like circling the drain, right? So we moved out to Camarillo. Then we moved to Agoura and lived in Hillrise. And now we live in Morrison, kind of over by Willow Elementary School. It's been 18 years since we lived in our house that we bought. The last place that we bought is now 18 years. I can't believe it's been 18 years. But it's pretty cool to live in the community where I teach. I never thought that was going to happen.
Well, we're happy that you ended up in Agoura Hills.
Thanks.
Because it's not where you start, it's where you end.
Right.
Right. So
That's right.
Agoura Hills loves you.
Thanks.
So what I thought we'd do is we'd have a little fun with a couple of rapid fire questions, which
Sure.
are sort of random in nature, but
Okay.
just it'd be nice to get the answers.
I'll
to
do
some
what I
of these.
can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What is playing on Mr. McKagan's iPod?
Clifford Brown. Clifford Brown, the trumpet player.
Okay.
Yeah,
Love
he's
it.
on there. Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks.
What show are you binge watching?
I'm going to probably lose half your audience when I say this right now. It is called Pawn Stars, and I am completely addicted to that show. I every time I watch it, I learn something new.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. The relationships that those guys have on that show, I don't know if anybody's watched it, but it's kind of unique, but I just love that show.
Yeah, I've watched it too, but you did lose half the audience. Come on back, come on back. All right, next question.
Yeah.
Who was the last one you texted?
It was Bob Hackett.
Right.
Yeah, it was Bob Hackett. He's one of the band directors at Agoura High School, a dear friend of mine. Yeah,
right.
I'm applying for a job at CLU, and I needed to have 4 references, so I contacted him to see if he would be a reference for me. And he goes, "What, you even have to ask?"
Yeah, right, yeah.
But we've been friends so long,
So
but I just felt like
shout out to Bob.
Yeah, Bob, yes.
All right, last one for you here.
Sure.
What would you have been if you weren't a music teacher?
Oh,
be honest.
Yeah, okay. If I wasn't a music teacher, I probably a veterinarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. All right, so listen, I've had 2 kids actually go through your program.
Yeah.
They've been one of the fortunate 10,000 plus students to come through, and they love you.
Thank you.
And I've honestly heard of people petitioning to come through Lindero Canyon Middle School literally to be in your music program. Why hang it up? You have there's so much popularity, so much love for you, Mr. McKagan. Why hang it up?
Gosh, well, you're making me feel really good about myself. Thank you for that. Yeah. It's 33 years. I think it's time to let somebody younger take over. I just think it's time. Get new ideas. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else I could do. I certainly have a love for it. I really care passionately about music and teaching music to my students. Like I said before, because of Waldo King and my early life with that. But I just think so it's not that. It's not that I don't have a love for it and a passion for it. And when the kids are with me and we're working together, there's just that feeling of mutual love, I guess, is the only thing I could say. I want them to know that I really care about them, and I think that in doing so, they start to care about me too, and we care about each other, and we've got each other's backs. I say to them all the time, I've got your back. And so it's not that. It's not the love or the passion. I think it's just time, I don't want to stay too long.
All right.
All
right.
the guy that's taken over, I picked him, and he's great. He's really positive. The kids are going to love him. They'll forget all about me in a few months. Trust me.
There definitely are some big shoes to fill, for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so, every October we have a huge city event, 𝗣𝗢𝗘𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 Days.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
you may have heard about it.
I have.
So,
a time or two.
Right. Every year we have a Grand Marshal. Yeah. And this year we are so honored that you've agreed to be our Grand Marshal. You hear that, community? We have Mr. McKagan as our Grand Marshal.
I am thrilled. I'm humbled. And, I just can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Is there something about the weekend that maybe you're most excited about in general, or specifically, or you're just
the whole thing. It's just a great, like for Friday night at the 𝗣𝗢𝗘𝗘𝗖, that whole thing, and then all day Saturday is really fun. And then I think we'll do something musical on Sunday. So it's going to be a really, really fun weekend. Yeah. I'm really excited about it.
So, we're obviously very excited about it. We also have had, a partnership. We have a history. The city and Mr. McKagan have a history of being partners. You have been our community concert band director a couple of times.
Yeah.
And that's been great. And can you maybe tell us a little bit about that? And what are the chances that we get you on a consulting contract after this?
We'll talk to Nick Newkirk about that, right?
Okay. Nick, you heard it. Yeah. Take care of that.
It was really fun being the director of we used to call it the Agoura Hills Las Virgenes Community. There was a Westlake Village or something. Yeah, it was stretched out. And then finally we just got smart and called it. Now you call it the Conejo Valley Community Concert Band and Jazz Band. And it's much more concise. But that was really fun because I was working with adults. And I spent all day working with 11 to 13 or 14-year-olds. Then to come back at night and work with adults was really refreshing. I really had a great time doing it. So that was a lot of fun. And it was nice that Nick Newkirk hired me twice. I think I did it for a few years, and I stopped doing it to raise my family. And then I came back, and Nick Newkirk said, "Sure, man, yeah." So I was really grateful to Nick for hiring me twice for that job.
Well, like I said, come on back.
Thanks.
3 times a charm.
Thanks.
So, okay, so we're sitting, in case you can't tell, we're sitting right here in the Lindero Canyon Middle School band room.
My home, or was my home away from home.
Home away from home, right?
Yeah.
Now, lots of blood, sweat, and tears have kind of gone into this room, right?
For sure.
Into not only creating it, but just all of the wonderful memories that I'm sure you're feeling. It's kind of nostalgic probably for you to be in this room.
Absolutely.
If these walls could talk, what would they say, Mr. McKagan?
Probably the first thing is Mr. McKagan has the worst jokes.
Okay.
Probably that. Yeah, probably that would be the number one thing. Mr. McKagan's jokes are the worst, or the dad jokes or whatever. Just horrible. Also, if you look around the room, the kids have made posters of things that I say all the time. Like I say to them, "You know why we tune?" And it says, "But we tune because we care." So these little sayings that I have said over throughout the years, like there's another one back there, "We don't ask for much, just 100% accuracy." So these things that I just say all the time, and they're all around the room. I think the walls are speaking.
Yeah, so impactful.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so rumor has it that students have come through your program and then have gone on to be famous musicians in their own right.
Just a few. Yeah.
Right, just a few. I mean, we won't give specific shouts out, but we know there's been a few.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel to know that you most likely played a part in building a love for music along these particular artists' journey to stardom?
Yeah, honestly, I think in some of those situations, I was just at the right place at the right time. These kids like I'm going to a concert at 𝗥𝗔𝗧𝗘 in Westlake on Sunday night, and the kid that's running the big band is Benny, and his name is Benny Kahn, and he is a trombone player. And he, I don't know how old he is exactly, but he might be 22 or 23 now. But he emailed me a couple days ago and said, "Hey, I got a big band. We're playing at 𝗥𝗥𝗧𝗘, and I'd love it for you to come and watch." So I am absolutely thrilled when things like that happen. So yeah, so for Benny, he's just a great guy, a great musician, and I was lucky enough to be his teacher. So I don't know that I can take any credit for him. Just being at the right place at the right time. Or maybe I could say, I was there when he started.
Mr. McKagan, it's well documented that you come from a musical family, and I gotta know, did you ever have epic musical jam sessions in your family? Has that ever happened?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But this, I'll tell you a quick story. It was not about an epic jam session, but it was an epic party. Okay, so I was going to college. My first and second year in college, I was up in Washington, where I grew up, and I was going to it had a great music program. So, and it was in 1981 when Mount St. Helens blew. Okay, now the college that I was at was in the path of the plume that came, all the ash and all that stuff. So I had to leave school. We all had to evacuate. So I took a bus home, and a lot of my friends did too. So we all came back to Seattle. And we all decided to have a party at my mom's house because my mom was out of town. Okay, so all of my jazz friends came over to my mom's house, and all of my brother's rock friends came over, and we were upstairs listening to jazz, and my brother and his friends were downstairs listening to rock, and it was just crazy. The dichotomy of what was going on, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And it didn't end up so well that night, but it was really fun while it lasted.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really great.
I'll have to try that mix at home sometime.
Jazz was in the top and the rock was in the bottom. It was really fun. 1981.
Love it. Yeah. I got to ask you. So, what are you looking forward to most in retirement?
Well, I really like cycling, so I want to get back on my bike more. So that's one of the things. Also, I'm mentoring at UCLA, and I'm applying for a job at CLU to be a mentor. They call it a field supervisor, where I will work with young teachers that are getting their teaching credential and helping them prepare for being a teacher, mentoring them. So I'm looking forward to sharing my 33 years of teaching with younger students that are coming up, and I'm really excited about that. So. Yeah, though I won't be in the classroom, I'll still be contributing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Doing what you love.
Doing what I love, yeah.
So, Mr. McKagan, you are riding off into the sunset. And as you ride off into the sunset, let's not lie, everybody's got that song that's playing as they ride. So my first part of this question is, what is the song that's playing as Mr. McKagan rides off into the sunset? And while you're riding off, what is your legacy? How would you like people to remember Mr. McKagan?
Wow, okay, so the song?
Yes.
Who Let the Dogs Out?
Oh.
So Clifford Brown is on my what I'm listening to.
Never would have guessed.
I know. That's why I'm laughing and saying it because it's such a I don't know, party song.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what about my legacy?
Yes. How would you like to be remembered?
Oh, I don't know. I think just as a guy that worked hard. I feel like I'm a real, in the trenches here. Wasn't an administrator or worked at the district office, or my schedule was so controlled. Every day I had to be at a certain place at a certain time, no flexibility. So I just felt like I, was always in the trenches. Being in here with just me and the students, just us. That's it. I mean, it's a lot, but that's what it was. I mean, it was just us in here for all those years. And I just hope that, that I was a hard worker and that I really care about, have a passion for what I was doing, and that I really care about and love my students. I don't know. Is there anything more than I would want than that?
I don't think so.
I could say, okay, see all the trophies up there and all that stuff, but those things, though they're cool and they look cool up there, they don't last. The things that last are, the relationships that we build in here, and the love and the passion that the kids might carry with them for a long time about music and what we've done here. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
Mr. McKagan, listen, I can't tell you, I speak on behalf of our whole entire audience, that how grateful, how blessed, how honored we are to have to known you all these years. And I really do feel like we all got a front row seat over these last 30 plus years to just this well-orchestrated musical masterpiece, you and your career. And as the curtain comes down, and I think it's bittersweet because we want the show to keep going, but the curtain's got to come down on that chapter.
Right.
But we do look forward to seeing when that curtain comes back up and to seeing all the amazing things that have yet to come from Mr. McKagan. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you so much for all that you've done, Mr. McKagan. Seriously, we love you, and we wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate that.
So Agoura Hills, you know how we do it on this podcast. Until we see you next time, keep living the good life.
In Agoura Hills.
Take care, everyone. Mr. McKagan, you're the best.
That was really fun, man.
You're the best.
Catch up on previous episodes at AgouraHillsPodcast.com and hit that like button and subscribe to The Good Life, Agoura Hills.